So Samson, the strongest man in the world, allowed a woman whose name means feeble to steal his strength. What does that mean? Delilah's name meant feeble, okay? So here it was, the strongest man in the world allowed somebody who he called feeble to steal his strength. Samson's name means sunlight. So sunlight means that Samson was aware. He was a prophet of God. He was fully aware of what Delilah was doing. He knew that she was trying to steal his strength. But he allowed temptation to get in the way. But anyway, I'm not getting into that. Let's go into why God didn't want him to cut his hair. God did not want Samson to cut his hair because his hair represented growth, spiritual growth. And when you spend time with God, that is like you're allowing yourself to grow. Just the same way your hair grow and it collects length. And when you take care of it and manage it, that's how it is when we're in the presence of God. When we're in the presence of God and we spend time with God, we have spiritual growth. Now, don't look at Samson's sin, because flesh and spirit are two different people. All right? So let's just look at Samson through the eyes of God in a spiritual sense, because God does not look at man's outward appearance. He looks at the heart, okay? So there's a reason why he chose Samson. So, and it didn't mean that Samson was this incredible hawk-looking person. Samson was probably a regular-looking person, but when the power of God came upon him, he had this supernatural strength. So a lot of times when we think about Samson, we always think of him as having these great muscles and stuff like that. But no, it was the power of God. And when you spend time in God's presence, you get the power of God on your life. And you have to be careful of allowing your flesh or fleshly things to steal your strength. And hair represents not only length, spending time with God, not only growth, but your hair is a weapon. Just like on the head of an animal, there's horns on certain animals. Those horns are created through keratin. Keratin is the same thing that makes like fingernails and hair. So a horn on an animal's head is made up of hair, okay? And hair is a sign of being able to protect yourself when negativity comes. So you should not allow something that is weak, something that is anti-God, a negative thought, negative words to come against you. Use the horn, use the hair that God has on your head, which is the knowledge that he gave you, because that's where a horn is, it's on your head. That's where hair is on your head. Okay? So even when we use as Christians, or even the Jews, like when they use a horn, they blow out of it, because in that horn there is power. There is power in your horn, which is your hair, which is on your head, and that's where we get our knowledge from, okay? So there is power inside of you. On your head is a weapon, authority. That's the knowledge that God gave you. So when you get in the presence of God, you get knowledge from God. So you need to realize that spending time with God gives you power. It gives you a weapon, which means God is teaching you the word of God. He's breaking down parables. He's giving you vision. He's giving you insight. So when Samson allowed feeble, because that's what Delilah means, when he allowed feeble to take his strength, but first she put him to sleep. That's how Satan gets you. He puts you to sleep, causes you not to be aware of what's going on, and then he goes in for the kill. So when Delilah put him to sleep and he told her everything, certain things keep private, don't say everything, okay? Then he told her about the things that God was doing in him in the secret place. Like certain things, you can't tell everybody your vision. You can't tell everybody what God has given you, okay? So when he told Delilah these things, or feeble, then she told other people, which were Philistines, and God was using Samson to get rid of the Philistines, and yet he was, telling her everything about himself, the private things. And then Delilah and these people caused Samson to lose his vision because they gouged out his eyes. So when you get with things that are feeble, it will cause you to lose your strength and you will lose your vision. You won't be able to see what God is doing in you. You won't be able to see where the direction that you're supposed to go in because you've lost your vision, okay? So you need to keep your vision by staying in the presence of God and by growing, not turning to the left nor to the right, but staying on the path that God has for you.